Hi, I'm Bob Kaiserman from the National Library of Patient Rights and Advocacy. I have a very special guest, Samantha Frey, who is an executive publisher of our two imprints, Patient Press and Somerset Publishing. Samantha has also just released her newest book, and today we are going to learn about her role at the library, as well as her life as an author. First, let me tell you a little bit more about Samantha. Samantha is a talented writer, editor, and publisher. She earned her degree in professional writing from Kutztown University in Pennsylvania, holds an associate's in liberal arts from Reading Area Community College. As a passionate reader and self-published author, she shares her love of stories through her career in publishing. In her free time, she enjoys traveling, watching movies, and exploring the paranormal as a novice ghost hunter. So welcome, Samantha, and thank you for joining.
Thank you for having me.
Why don't we begin by you telling us about your book and what is the essence of the book?
So, Beautifully Macabre is a collection of poetry, two-sentence horror stories, and short fiction that are supposed to be like really creepy and like makes you like really think about things about the paranormal and other things like monsters or what's really a monster, what's not. Me personally, like I've always loved watching horror movies and stuff, so I kind of like tapped into that niche of like the creepy because a lot of readers do enjoy like the mystery and horror and thriller.
Mhm. Um, Tell us a little bit more about your interest in this genre and why you enjoy writing books for this audience.
I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that I am a novice ghost hunter. My husband and I, we go to places like Gettysburg a lot, and we ghost hunt there. We've been to the Ohio State Penitentiary. We've been to places in the New England states as well, and it's always that, what's there beyond, this plane of life that we have sort of thing.
Interesting, very interesting. So, as the publisher of our two imprints, what are some of your responsibilities, and tell us about some of the projects that you're currently working on and we can look forward to.
So some of my job is reaching out to a team of writers that I oversee and just checking in with them, making sure that they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. So it's more of like a project management position.
Okay.
Um, and I also have an Excel spreadsheet of what everyone's working on. So, and as of right now, I'm trying to get a team of writers together to work on a collaborative anthology piece. So each of us is writing a different genre of a short story to compile into one book. I know I do have one writer who's working on a fantasy romance full-length novel at the moment. She's working on her outline as we speak. And then I also have another writer who's doing a her own anthology of different short stories that have to do within an antique shop, and each story is about a different item in that antique shop, which I'm very excited about.
This is really interesting, and I want my audience to understand that we have two imprints. The most recent imprint is Somerset Publishing, and Samantha has taken upon herself to expand that for us. Um, Most of you are aware that our patient press publishes books on consumer health information. We've published 9 books already in that area, but we're sort of focusing on bringing in this new dimension. And fortunately for us, Samantha is doing that for us. Um, what um, It must be difficult to manage all these people. What do you think is the most challenging part of the job of being our executive publisher?
I would definitely have to say communication, because of us, working remotely and everything's done via email. I try to tell the writers when I hire them and when I talk to them, like, I understand we all get busy and everything, but just to reach out to me in case something's not going right or you're
Right.
working on something and you have any problems or concerns. One of my things in my background is I used to be a writing tutor at Reading Area Community College. So I am very big on trying to help people craft something original and helping them as much as they can with their storytelling. So, and a lot of times the idea of writing like a full-length book can be daunting. So that's why I offered the anthology piece to try to get people, because a lot of the writers that I'm working with have never written or published anything before.
Right.
And as someone who has published books on Amazon, self-published before, I know exactly how everything goes with the formatting and how to get the story from A to B.
Bouncing off of your last comment, um, you are indeed a well-published author. Can you tell our audience a little bit more about the other books that you've written that I
Yeah.
imagine are all available on Amazon?
Yes, yeah, all of them are available on Amazon. So I started off writing exclusively like young adult um, fiction. So I grew up in the era of like Twilight and like Harry Potter. So I really love fantasy and fiction, and especially paranormal romances. So my very first book, Blood and Butlers, is a paranormal romance. It's a vampire romance. And then I just kind of like branched off from there because at some point in my writing career, there's other stories I wanted to write. Like I wanted to write about the horror murder mystery. I wanted to write poetry. I wanted to do this. So I said to myself, I'm like, how can I do all the things I want to do and keep it under one umbrella? So I had to rebrand myself as a multi-fiction or multi-genre author. When I do book events and stuff, that's how I market myself as I'm a multi-genre author. I don't write just this, but I write this, this, and this. And I've actually had a lot of people say that they commend me for that. Like they're excited for that because, just because they don't like paranormal, romance
Mhm.
doesn't mean they're not going to like my horror thriller book that I have sitting here.
Mhm.
So a lot of people like the diversity that I offer.
Very
Um,
good. My last question is, having just come out of a program in writing, I would imagine that there are many people watching this, especially younger folks, who have an aspiration to write. Is this relatively new that colleges are offering this type of major? Or I know that Kutztown offered this to you. Is that a special program that's kind of unique, or are there many others?
There are many others. You can get a degree in just creative writing. For me, though, I wanted to be trained in all sorts of writing. So for me, it's not just the fiction writing and the poetry writing. It's also the technical writing, how to create handouts. It's also learning about different parts of literature, like the world literature, and, comparing that to what we have today.
Mhm.
Same thing with, I took a desktop publishing class, which was for newsletters. Took a magazine writing class. So I made sure that I was well-rounded in different areas of writing and I was knowledgeable enough so that way when I do, go out into the job market or applying it to being the executive publisher, then I knew what I was talking about.
Good. Well, you are indeed one of the greatest assets that we have in our
Thank you.
organization. I appreciate that we took the time to talk to you, and we should continue to work well together for a long time.
Yes.
Thank, thank you very much, and I will talk to my audience very shortly with the next author profile in the upcoming weeks. Thank you for watching.